All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Behind the Book, where honest reviews spark deeper, more meaningful reading. I'm Erica M. Burrell, the teacher lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. This week, we're talking all about problem solving. Today's Behind the Book is an excellent resource to allow us to start to have that conversation. If you haven't already done so, take a moment first to go watch the read aloud for this book. In this episode, I'll be sharing my glows, the things I think were done well, my grows, where I think there was a missed opportunity, who should be adding this book to their library, and discussion questions to have a more robust conversation after this read along with your little one. And if you need additional resources, be sure to check out my Teacher Lady Speaks playlist, which is a lesson plan that sums all of this up. Every single week, we change the topic. Every single week, I give you all the resources I have as a well-seasoned educator, or at least a good start, okay? Now let's get back to this review. You ready? Let's go. What to do with a problem, but the story of a child who is frustrated by this thing following them, okay? He goes about addressing the problem and discovers that it's not so bad. And not only is it not so bad, there's actually beauty to the problem that he had to resolve. One of the take-home messages is that we all have problems. Another take-home message is that our problems can cause anxiety, and we all have anxiety, and those problems don't start to resolve. The anxiety doesn't start to come down until we address it and look at it straight forward. Those were the two main messages that I believe were delivered extremely well. The age group of 4 and up works for this story. I believe that young children will get it, understand it, and have a base, okay, a foundation of what to do next. Of now I know that problems exist and that isn't unique to me. So yes, I believe that the take-home messages were clearly articulated for the age group in which they were intended. Flight attendant? Intended. All right, let's keep going. Staple books basically means if you have children that meet the age group of that book, put it on your shelf, okay? This is a staple book. When you start to talk about things like anxiety, nervousness, problem solving, different social emotional learning skills, this book is a valuable resource. It's an introduction to problem solving and to even acknowledging that problems exist, because we can't get to the solving part if they don't understand that what a problem is in the first place. And so this is definitely a staple book. So if you have young children, this book is for you. If you have children who don't understand the concept of a problem, of an issue, or of anxiety, I would also add this to your shelf. Glows and what I think Kobe did really well. Kobe is an artist because it is difficult to take such simple wording and very clearly show what it is that you're trying to communicate. Kobe did that. That's one of my glows. Kept it simple, kept it clear. I love that. I also love the illustrations, but more specifically, the evolution of the color that comes into the illustrations. So these illustrations never get super bright. I really appreciate May for taking their own perspective on what children's art should look like. It's clear enough that you can see that something is going on and following this boy through the pictures, but it's also not super bright and over the top. And so when there's a little bit of color coming in, we really notice because of how drastically different the dark grays were when we get into the different elements of color. So I really like that transition that was done not only by words, but also by way of the pictures. Last glow is all the questions. There are so many questions in this story. And why I like the questions is questions help children to reflect on how this is applicable in their own lives. So pages like, what if it takes all of my things? That's really relatable. to a lot of people in reference to this problem. Questions like, what if my problem sneaks up and gets me, right? These are things that children have likely thought about or considered, and it allows them to think about how it is applicable and relatable to whatever is going on in their life. So very well done. My grows, I don't have many. It's less of a critique and more of a personal, like, oh man, I wanted to know what the problem was. And I get that that was part of the point. Part of the point is to conceptualize problems because they exist both big and small. What's a small problem to you might be a huge problem to me, right? And so we have a wide variety of problems and we have a wide variety of ways in which we address problems. I would have loved an example, something that would have brought home, this is the problem, this is how I saw that it was beautiful, and this is how I went about starting to resolve it. Even if it were a page added to the end of the book, I am nosy and curious enough to want to know, well, what was following him? What was that? I see that it's a dark cloud. I see that this dark bubble thing, but what is it? I wanted to know what it was. Okay, Kobe, you always leave me on red, and I'll be trying to figure it out. I'm like, what was the problem? Was he hungry? Was he tired? Was it global warming? What was it? I want to know. And I will tell you that my babies also want to know. So it's not just me with the problem. All right. Overall, phenomenal. And that piece isn't much of a critique because I recognize that that artistry was done intentionally. That is Erica's personal preference of what she wants from your work because I think that you are an amazing artist. One of the things that you can discuss with your little is your own problems. I am very big when it comes to talking to children about opening the conversation first. You'll hear me say that time and time again, because the more vulnerable you are as the grown up, the more the child is likely to be receptive to what it is you're saying and then add their own 2 cents. Because that's what we want. We want to know what's going on in that head of theirs. What is it that they're struggling with? How can we offer support? That is usually our desire as caregivers, educators, parents, grandparents, so on and so forth. So I would open up the discussion and I would talk about a problem that I have. You can literally use taxes. I don't care what the problem is. Find something in your life that you might be struggling with or that you struggled with in the past. I really had a problem because I wanted to be this girl's friend and she just didn't like me and I don't know why. Talk about whatever the problem was. If you were able to solve it, talk about that, but also be very open and candid that sometimes problems don't have solutions. Literally, like we don't always have control over a solution, but we do have control over how we go about recognizing and combating or managing that issue. And so we cannot always solve it, but there are skills and resources to help us better manage it. Does that make sense? Those are the directions I would take in terms of discussing with your child. We have more in the lesson plan on the Teacher Lady Speaks playlist that is airing on Friday. My final thoughts are that this is such a valuable resource when it comes to talking about problem solving, conflict resolution skills with children, young children, and I'm, as always, appreciative for the work that is being done, both by Kobe and by May. Lastly, I am an author. I'm an illustrator. I am a book advocate and connoisseur. I've created a program called Pay It Forward Initiative. The official name is the Empathy Library now. It's very straightforward. You go donate what you can. We purchase books. We get them to children who need them and communities that deserve them. Now, if you are on the other side and you are a person from a community who needs them, or you're an educator that services children from low-income backgrounds or underserved backgrounds, there's an application process for you as well. So you can either go on to donate or you can go on to receive. Either way, I'm so happy you're spending time with me, getting to know new books or maybe old. Feel free to leave comments about what you think is working well or any other insights or tips that you have around problem solving, because Lord knows we all have a lot to learn. Until next time, remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.